Microsoft's next-gen Xbox is coming out early, and it might be the most powerful console you've ever seen. What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where I get on and I talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some really cool rumors involving the next-generation Xbox, the one made by Microsoft, not some partnered Asus device. Then we'll move on to discuss a much welcome change coming to Call of Duty, a small update regarding one of Xbox's most mysterious upcoming games, and how one of my favorite Xbox games of the year is getting even better. You will be forgiven if you assumed that Microsoft was not going to make Xbox consoles anymore. As this console generation goes on, hardware sales continue to fall for Xbox. They've made this massive push to convince people that anything that could play an Xbox game is an Xbox console. And of course, with the upcoming release of the Xbox Ally, we now have Xbox consoles that are not made by Microsoft at all. But while they're doing all that, and that's all well and good, they have already come out and confirmed, Sarah Bond specifically, that they're working on a next-generation first-party console lineup in partnership with AMD. That will include handhelds, upgrades to the cloud gaming experience. They even mentioned that this hardware would have access to multiple storefronts. And since then, the leaks, the rumors, they just keep coming. The most recent ones making the rounds are thanks to YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead, who claims that Microsoft for their next-gen Xbox, not only are they going to be about multiple storefronts, however you want to play, we'll enable that, but they're also reportedly interested on going all in on graphics, really upgrading the performance of these next-gen devices. And not only that, he also claims that they're in the final stage of development and they could launch as soon as 2026, probably 2027. Separately, Notebook Check has said that the next-gen Xbox that they're working on could more than double the visual fidelity and performance that you can achieve on a PS5 Pro. This comes right off the heels of a previous leak saying that the code name for this next Xbox is Magnus. Magnus will apparently run on a new AMD RDNA 5 GPU and Zen 6 CPU, and the graphics would be basically on par with something that you would experience on a 5th generation card, like a 5080. So suddenly, 4K resolution, 120 FPS, that's on the table with improved ray tracing. Now, this is all really exciting, and I think it's a really interesting approach for Microsoft to take, especially fresh off the generation where they tried to introduce the world to the Xbox Series S, an underpowered, budget-friendly console. Maybe they saw how many people were complaining about that, developers making a stink about that, and decided to reverse course and say, you know what, okay, you didn't like the Series S, you didn't like the lack of memory, let's do the opposite of that and just make this absolute beast. A quick update since I started filming this video. Some new stuff from Moore's Law is Dead. It has just completely blown this whole thing wide open. It is absolutely crazy. Not only is this a guy who was leaking this new AMD semi-custom chip that's going to be in this next-gen Xbox, but he also went ahead and took a dive into the different dies that AMD is cooking up. Upwards of 4 different placeholder names that we're seeing, which strongly suggests, after months of rumor saying that the next-gen Xbox is going to be more like a PC console hybrid, they're taking it even farther than that. According to these leaks, the next-gen Xbox will pretty much be pre-built PCs just running this Xbox interface, maybe the full screen experience, maybe something else entirely. This would of course enable Microsoft to make a bunch of different units ranging from entry-level Series S type console all the way up to a system that could absolutely blow the PlayStation 6 out of the water. Because again, it is a gaming PC. Something like that will probably range on like $1,000 like gaming PC price range. Then we'll probably have in that middle a $600, maybe $700 console that'll serve as like the standard flagship one. I shouldn't even say console, I should start saying PC now. PC with an Xbox thing. After months of being told that Microsoft is gonna stop making Xbox hardware, it seems like we're about to get a flood of different hardware options onto the market next generation. Because this doesn't even go into the handheld that they have said that they're working on, or any other possible partnered OEM devices like the Xbox Ally. I mean, these leaks are absolutely crazy, detailing the different graphics cards that they're going to be dealing with or operating under in terms of the placeholder names, specific dates and price points. Docs literally list the 170 XT as targeting less than $550, and also that the 190 XTX targets 6090. Everything else regarding performance are estimates. And here, the second note right here, it must be noted that there could be more models than is currently planned, more than these 4. I know people have a lot of anxiety going from, a console to PC, especially since, well, we've been console guys for the past 20-something years, depending how long you've been an Xbox fan. But I do think that this is a smart move for Microsoft specifically. Do something that PlayStation, Sony, they can't do or are not willing to do. Combine your knowledge and your experience in the PC gaming world to deliver something unique, something that the market hasn't seen, a next-gen lineup that is flexible. That idea is basically the evolution of what we've been seeing from Xbox over this past couple generations. The Xbox One S versus the One X, Series S versus the Series X. As controversial as the Series S has been, I've always liked that flexibility, that choice as a customer. While that's all well and cool, 4K resolution, 120 FPS, that sounds great, but does it really matter? Thinking about the last 5 years since these current consoles came out, the Series X, the PlayStation 5, the power of the console has been mostly irrelevant because a lot of the major games that came out this gen were cross-generational, so we haven't really seen a lot of what these current consoles can even do or achieve, minus a few outliers like with Hellblade 2 on Xbox. But for the most part, it hasn't really mattered how powerful a console is, or even if you have like a really top-end rig, powerful PC built specifically for gaming, because games this generation have been horribly optimized. There are people with top-of-the-line gaming PCs struggling to even achieve a lot 60 on some of the latest games. I've been playing Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. I've been really enjoying it. And while during my review period, the kind of intro beginner levels, I wasn't experiencing a lot of performance issues or drops in visual fidelity. But as I'm going further along in the game, I absolutely am, especially in this snowy area, Cloudspire. I fought the first boss in Cloudspire, this general guy, and I have it on prioritize FPS, prioritize frame rate. And this was the first time I was looking at the game, I was like, wow, this does not look good. This feels like I'm playing on a Switch or something. And even as I'm making my way through the area, I'm experiencing frame drops. I'm like, what is going on? Why does this game perform so badly on what was at one point the most powerful console? That's how Xbox marketed the Series X. We're 5 years in, we have more than capable hardware and devices like the Series X, PS5 Pro, PlayStation 5, and we're still running into these situations. So there's really no guarantee, these next Xboxes come out and oh my gosh, they're so amazing, that we wouldn't have the same problems we're having now. But I won't be too harsh though, these are all just rumors, of course, and still, I'm very excited to see what Xbox is cooking up. I'm excited for a graphical upgrade, sure, but I'm excited I want them to get weird with it, man. Let's focus a little bit more on the present though. One of my biggest beefs with Call of Duty, and no, I'm not gonna talk about like the weird cartoon characters running in like Beavis and Butthead, 360 no-scope and me. No. One of my biggest beefs with Call of Duty is the install size. It hogs up so much of my console storage. And of course, a big reason for that is you're not just installing one Call of Duty game. No, it's like this whole Call of Duty hub, its own separate launcher on my console. So even though I just want to hop on and play Black Ops 6, I have to have the files for Modern Warfare 2 and 3. It's done. At one point, last time I checked, it was like I needed 250 gigs in order to update the Call of Duty launcher. I just said, no, it's not even worth it. And they were like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because if you don't update it, you're not going to have this game at all on your console. I was like, fine, so be it. And I just removed it entirely. Well, apparently in the near future, I won't have to worry about that anymore because Call of Duty plans to remove Modern Warfare 2 and 3 from the launcher to reduce the size of the install. I guess the official install size, total install size for Call of Duty right now is 381.19 gigabytes. That's on PC, so I'd have to double check what it is on console. It's just way too much, way too much. But as of July 19th, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and 3 are going to be moved from the main Call of Duty install and become standalone downloads. This is part of a broader, much welcome change in Xbox's installation and storage options, where you can literally go manage the installation and check what specifically you're gonna play. So if you're like, I only wanna play the campaign, you can go ahead and just download the campaign, forget all the other stuff. Xbox and their publishers beneath them, they need to start thinking about this more and more, because the install size of games keeps going up, but the amount of storage that they're offering us is not increasing. At the beginning of this generation, I was like, whoa, a full terabyte of storage on my Series X? I'm gonna have room for so many games. That was not the case. I ended up caving and buying a Seagate card. So if they insist on having these big ass games, they should give us more storage options. Xbox isn't afraid to license out their names to a bunch of people so they can make Xbox branded controllers, but for some reason, they're only allowing two companies, Western Digital and Seagate, to make any other alternative storage option. It's crazy. You can sort of use cloud gaming to offset any download size if you just want to jump in and play every now and then. But more and more people are hungry for native experiences, native downloads. Because let's be real, cloud gaming can be really consistent. I tried to play Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers on the internet here, where I'm filming at my friend's house, and it was just abysmal. It was terrible. It was not at all comparable. I wanted to move on to some comments that Hideo Kojima just recently made. Now that they're done with shipping Death Stranding 2, apparently his focus has shifted to OD, this mysterious game that he's working on with Xbox that's supposed to be a game but also like a movie. We really have no idea what this game is supposed to be. And honestly, with these most recent comments, I'm intrigued but also a little worried. He's saying that people are either gonna love it or hate it. It's gonna be like something no one has ever seen before, which he says that when the game comes out, he's gonna listen to criticisms, he's gonna take people's feedback, sort of, but not really, because he's like, no, people won't really get the true meaning of this game until like 10, 20 years into the future. He says it's a game, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's a movie, and at the same time, a new form of media. That, I don't know. That sounds like too much. I kind of just want the game. If I want to see a movie, I'll go see a movie. I was actually just watching a really interesting video about the Dragon's Lair and how much it took this one guy in real world dollars to beat the whole game. For those of you who don't know, it's the game that showed up on Stranger Things, I think in the second season. It's animated by the same guy who did The Secret of Nim 2, but it's also a game. It's basically just like a bunch of QuickTime events. I'm wondering if OD is something along those lines, like an interactive movie, sort of similar to Bandersnatch, where you make choices for the character as you go through these QuickTime events. I don't know, but he's writing a pretty big check with his words here. Oh, it's a new form of media. Yeah, we'll see how gamers specifically respond to that. And to wrap up the video, I wanted to talk about Grounded 2. I've been really enjoying this game. I've been hearing the criticisms of like, oh, it's a lot like the first game. I didn't really play the first game that much. I've played like a collective 10 or so hours of that first Grounded. So I don't have those same hangups. I really love Grounded 2. And yes, it's not the full release just yet. It's in early access, but they just released a really cool roadmap detailing what updates are coming and when we can expect them. Starting off with a fall update that'll include AXL recipes, AXL's arena, a building grid, various quality of life improvements, hot pouch on buggers, AXL Park Boss, which a lot of people are assuming that it's going to be a tarantula, AXL armor, AXL weapons, AXL furniture, all of that sounds really awesome. I can't wait to take on the Park Boss specifically. What's drawing my eye in this is that they have like some redacted parts that they're not willing to share with us. Like in this winter update, the second one, what is that? It has the same icon as the AXL recipes and arena. Same thing with the other two in the summer update and the future plans. I'm like, damn it, why would you give me that and then redact some? Now I want to know more. I'm curious what this winter update entails. Steam Deck verified, Steam Deck crossplay. I guess that's pretty straightforward, but then after that, it just says ROG Ally. Does it mean like they're optimizing the game for the Ally? And if so, which model? Are they talking base? Are they talking with the Z1 Extreme processor like the one I have now? Are they talking about the Ally X? It's a little disappointing the fact that I'm gonna have to wait until the winter in order to have a Ladybug buggy. For those of you who don't know, a buggy is basically a a bug that you put a little saddle on and ride around like a horse. So right now I have a fire ant buggy, but I'm progressing to the point where I'm feeling like I can take on a ladybug. Raid some ladybug eggs, take them back to my hatchery. I just kind of assumed that that was already available. I would be able to ride a ladybug around at one point. They're also apparently going to be adding crickets and earwigs into that. No, that sounds crazy. I can't even imagine how a cricket movement-wise is going to. That just sounds crazy. The terrestrial bugs like spiders, like cockroaches, freaking ants, those are all like, they can be pretty scary, but they're manageable because, well, I'm also on the ground too. If I hit them enough, they'll go down. But for flying stuff like mosquitoes or the butterfly, the moth, those are a whole other challenge. So thinking about dealing with a cricket who is known for not flying, but going airborne, jumping around crazy style, I'm not looking forward to that. Looking ahead to the summer update, I'm really excited for watery bases. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to mean. Like, I can build a base underwater or like build it over a body of water. The one thing that I find it kind of awkward and difficult to do in this game is build around existing structures. I tried to build my first base on a rock because I was like, oh, what a solid foundation. And then that turned out to be like, things aren't always level. It kind of messes things up. So I'm really curious to see like what kind of improvements and changes are going to come by the time I'm able to build a water base. And then beyond that, new armors, new weapons, new archetypes. I'm really excited about that. Right now we have the traditional like D&D RPG style archetypes like a fighter, a rogue, a ranger. They even have like a pugilist sort of build and armor. So I'm really curious to see what other archetypes, assuming that that's what they're referring to, they're going to introduce. More new buggies, buggy mutations. That's kind of interesting. Like, I'll be able to infuse like different powers into my buggies, into my mounts. Buggy customization, yes, all stuff I'm really looking forward to. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.